Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Eric May, and on behalf of OTC Markets, as well as our co-host, Murdoch Capital Partners and TA Advisory, we are very pleased you have joined us for today's uranium and vanadium company presentations. Our next live presentation is from Blue Sky Uranium Corp. Before we introduce our speakers, a few points to note. Please submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. If you are interested in scheduling a meeting with Blue Sky Uranium, please click on the meetings tab found in the left navigation bar. You'll be able to view the company's availability and submit a meeting request. On a final note, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome Nico Kakos, President and CEO, and Guillermo Pensado, Vice President, Exploration and Development of Blue Sky Uranium Corp, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol BKUCF and also on the TSXV under the symbol BSK. Welcome, Nico and Guillermo.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining our presentation today. With Blue Sky Uranium, we have a very unique opportunity, a very unique exploration company. We're developing not just a singular deposit, but we're developing a new uranium vanadium district in southern Argentina. It's a very compelling story. I think Blue Sky Uranium is definitely unlike our other exploration peers, and it's our investment thesis is definitely worthwhile listening to here, and I'll go through it. By the way, this presentation is available on Blue Sky Uranium's website, and where you can download it and peruse it at your own pace. But I also would like to bring your attention to this page too. This disclaimer is we will be making some forward-looking statements during this presentation. So, Blue Sky Uranium. Why uranium? Well, uranium, as we'll see, is in a very bull market, and it's definitely getting set up to continue moving higher. The demand for uranium is continuing to expand, and I'll have more to say about that. But for an exploration company that's exploring in this field, that's exactly the kind of backdrop that we want to be in a rising uranium market. And second of all, the country that we're in Argentina, is setting up Blue Sky for a very, very unique business opportunity. And I'll have a little more to say about that because Argentina, as most people may not understand, is a nuclear country. The project itself, well, we do have a deposit, an initial deposit that we've discovered, and we have there's a floor value underpinning our company here with just under 23 million pounds of uranium and 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. But the real key here is that this is in a uranium district that spans over 145 kilometers in length and 50 kilometers wide. It is really enormous, and that this resource is open for expansion along this entire district. So there is the potential here to make multiple discoveries like what we already have here. So in a nutshell, basically, what we have here is a world-class uranium district that, with the work that we've done in our initial economic assessment, preliminary economic assessment, has shown that it has a potential to rank amongst the lowest quartile operating costs and to be amongst the largest uranium districts. In this slide here, we see a map of Argentina, and it shows where our project is located. Our project is called the Amarillo Grande project, the Big Yellow project, and it is in the province of Rio Negro in Patagonia. Patagonia is in the southern part of Argentina, and Rio Negro is the northern province there in the light blue. The Amarillo Grande is situated, that big yellow blob situated there, and it is comprised of over 300,000 hectares of property. Truly an enormous property assemblage. And the company, who's running the company, who is the management team? Well, we are all, Blue Sky is a member of the Grasser Group. And the Grasser Group is a very well-renowned management team in Argentina that has had a lot of success. We're one of the early pioneers in mining exploration since 1993, back when Argentina liberalized its investment laws to permit foreign investment in mining exploration. And we recognize the enormous potential that Argentina held. And we've had a lot of success in the last 30 years. And some listed here, there are 4 large successes that are listed here, including some producing mines now, and we're extremely well known. And the Grasso Group gives the Blue Sky a real, truly competitive advantage. More specifically, looking at the team directly involved with Blue Sky, we've got Joe Grasso. Joe Grasso, besides being the president and founder of the Grasso Group, is also very well known and respected in Argentina. He's been inducted into Argentina's Mining Hall of Fame, and his connections and contacts in that country, not just in government, but throughout the mining industry, truly gives Blue Sky a real competitive advantage to be able to operate effectively and fluidly in the country. And then on the line, you'll hear about Guillermo Pensado. From Guillermo Pensado very shortly. Guillermo is an exploration geologist, again, with nearly 30 years of experience, and he's got expertise definitely in the uranium field, having worked with Cameco, and he has also an award-winning geologist, having been awarded Explorationist of the Year by his peers in Argentina. And the other person on our team that I'd like to bring your attention to is on the bottom right-hand corner, Mr. Chuck Edwards. Chuck is a mineral processing engineer and a metallurgist. He was the chief metallurgist for Cameco for many, many years, and is internationally respected and really quite well known, a true authority in his field, and we're quite proud to have him on board, looking after all the metallurgical work and process engineering work for our project here at Amarillo Grande. So I talked at the beginning a little bit about the uranium market. The uranium market definitely, as this chart shows, the demand for uranium definitely is outstripping what the supply could be. And that, of course, is economics 101 to cause a price increase. And we have definitely seen that price increase. Just in the last few years, we've seen the price of uranium spot price go from sub $20 to over $50 a pound right now. The projection is that it's going to continue to go up, and because uranium is a limited market, just a little bit more demand can cause a significant price spike in uranium price. And the reason for that is what we're seeing is a much more widely accepted use for nuclear reactors as a way of generating safe, secure, reliable, and carbon-free energy, electricity. And as this is being accepted more and more, there are more and more nuclear reactors being built around the world, from large companies and small companies, large countries and small countries. For example, in Japan, right now they've agreed to extend the life of their current nuclear reactors by an additional 20 years, and they've also approved the building of new nuclear reactors. And this is being repeated in the United States and in Europe and around the world. So this is causing, of course, nuclear reactors need uranium, and that continuously feeds into the demand. And I feel that we're in a long-term bullish market for the price of uranium. And another key in this slide, what we see is, where does all the world's uranium come from? And currently what we see, most of the world's uranium, about almost half of it, comes from Kazakhstan. And there's very unique reasons for that. And one of the most unique ones, besides the abundance of it there, is also the ability of Kazakhstan to produce uranium at very, very low cost, amongst the lowest in the world. And we'll see some of the similarities that our deposit has with the Kazakhstani uranium mines. And the pricing for uranium, well, there's a spot market, which I alluded to, but most of the world's uranium is actually not traded on an exchange. It's actually a contract between a uranium mine and a nuclear reactor or utility. And typically there's a private contract that's formed, and it's a long-term contract to ensure the ongoing need for having a secure supply of uranium. And typically this is these contracts can go up to 15 years, and the price that is negotiated is typically 30 to 40% above what the spot price is. Argentina, where our project is located, as I said at the outset, is is probably the best country for us in which to have made a new uranium discovery, because Argentina is a nuclear country. In fact, they've been in the nuclear business since the 1950s, involved in every facet of the nuclear cycle, all except for the production of uranium. They've got power plants that are in operation, new ones that are being built. They've got particle accelerators. In fact, there's even a pilot enrichment plant in Argentina. But to satisfy its needs, Argentina must import uranium at this point. So with Blue Sky right now, even at this early stage of our development, our project is the largest in Argentina, and it's also the most advanced project in Argentina. So we're definitely set up for potentially becoming the first domestic supplier of uranium to the Argentina, and then become a net exporter after that. So that's a very key point. And the other key point with having Argentina as a nuclear country is all the regulatory framework is already set up. We don't need to wait for Parliament to debate and to implement new laws as to how you can handle and maneuver new radioactive materials or uranium materials, which it's a process that can take many, many years. So when a decision is made to go to production, the rules to follow are already in place, and that is potentially can definitely speed up the process. And now, to speak to you about Amarillo Grande, I'm going to hand it off to Guillermo Pensado. Guillermo?
Thanks, Nico. Hi, everyone. I will talk to you today about this, as Nico mentioned before, unique project. And this is a unique project for different reasons. First, because it comprised an entire district, which was discovered by Blue Sky and is 100% controlled by Blue Sky. This project is not a single deposit project. If not, what we have today is the discovery of the first deposit, which is Ivana deposit, and you will see later. But the project itself, which is, as I mentioned, district-side deposit, has the exploration potentiality to comprise multiple deposits. And this is what we are trying to define. So, as you can see in the picture, this is desert area in the northern portion of the Patagonia, as Nico mentioned before, and it's a very good area also for uranium exploration. So this district it represents more than 140 kilometers long trend in the middle of Rio Negro province in a big depression that was discovered back in 2006 by a former National Atomic Energy geologist with huge experience, Jorge Berizo. And what we found back in 2006, 2007 was uranium just on surface, just by the road, with a yellow mineral with uranium and vanadium, named carnotite. And this discovery led to start an intensive exploration program, which at the beginning discovered a huge airborne radiometric anomaly a few kilometers to the southeast, a NEAT anomaly, which was also really then explored. But we found that the district was bigger than that zone. So we continue airborne radiometric surveys to the south, and we found another significant sector, the Ivana sector, well to the south. And this is where we focus our exploration since 2017. And why we started or we focused there? Because we found that this huge district was a new district where we had to prove that we have the chances to define economic deposits comprised within this district. As you can see in many other districts, Nico already mentioned Kazakhstan, but also you can see the same geology in United States or many other countries. So we had to define first that along this huge district, we could have single potentially economic deposits. So we started an intensive exploration program in 2017 at the Ivana sector, where we rapidly defined a deposit. In 2017, we went into resource estimation to understand that we have a potential economic volume. And after that, we went into initial preliminary economic assessment to understand that this deposit could be potentially economic. And we are talking about 2017-18, when the uranium price was about $20 per pound, and most of the competitors would be the Kazakhstan deposit, which were producing at very low cost. So we started this program in this project, and basically at Ivana, we also had to see that the environment where we're exploring, and as I mentioned before, Rio Negro province is where we are located. This is probably in Argentina, which is a nuclear country, the province with more experience in the nuclear sector. They have a research nuclear reactor. They have a research company developing metallurgical studies and nuclear studies, and they have a pilot uranium enrichment plant. It's a province with very good infrastructure. It's a province that it's natural resource friendly jurisdiction. They have from decades production from oil and gas. They have also mining, and it's a very attractive and active province today. And although from the environmental and social point of view, we are in a depression in the middle of the province, with very low density population and very low rains that you can work 12 months per year. So the mineralization which was discovered is this yellow mineral in the upper picture. This is carnotite, uranium vanadium mineral. This is typical observed in superficial type deposits as those in Australia or Africa. And this is the mineral that we found all along the trend of the project. But what we tried to define in 2017 was if all the potentiality of this district was the superficial mineralization, or this was the superficial expression of a bigger system, a sandstone-type deposit, as observed in the same basin in other sectors to the north, and that could be potentially more economically attractive. And this was rapidly discovered or proven. The good thing is that because today this system is close to the surface, we are seeing, for example, at Ivana deposit, the mineralization is between surface and 25, 30 meters in depth. So that means that for exploration, represent very low cost, and the potential future production means that you don't need drilling, blasting, or crushing, because most of the mineralization is contained in poor consolidated or unconsolidated sediments like sands or gravels. So the geological model, this district is similar to, or have many similarities to those in Kazakhstan or in Colorado, as I mentioned. You can see in the left picture the district in Kazakhstan, where you can see the yellow stars represent producing mines. Between those, you can see the most important Inkai mine with more than 200 million pounds uranium, with similar grades as those observed at Amarillo Grande project. The right picture, you can see the southernmost sector of the district, the Ivana deposit, but the other zones have many targets, exploration targets, where we have to prove that more deposits as the Ivana already demonstrated deposit, we can find along the district, because the geological model indicates that we may have many other trap zones as the one that generated the Ivana deposit all along this 140 kilometers trend. So, as I mentioned, the first step was to see if we have a potentially economic volume, and we found at this initial discovery that we had almost 23 million pounds grading 0.03% U3O8, as I mentioned, similar to Inca mine. But also we have vanadium with 11.5 million pounds, both commodities or metals, 100% imported today in Argentina. So vanadium is also required in Argentina and may help in the economics of the deposit, because when you recuperate the uranium, you also recuperate vanadium. This is a map from the Ivana deposit. It's more than 5 kilometers arcuate mineralization zone, as I mentioned, from surface, from 0 to 25, 30 meters in depth. The darkness zone represents the most primary mineralization zone with the higher grades, what is expected to start a potential future production. And as you can see at this map, it was still open to the west. And this is something that we are now to prove with the last drilling program, that we can extend that. We hope to do that, to extend that mineralization and the deposit to the west. And also we were drilling the last year, trying to improve the category of the deposits to see if we can move from inferred into better category. Once we prove that we have a potential volume, we had to prove that we could recuperate that mineralization, the uranium and the vanadium. And Chuck Edward played the significant role here with his experience, and he defined a very well-known and simple processing methodology in 2 stages. The first one, because the mineralization is between the grains in the very fine material or coating the pebbles, as you saw in the picture, you need a simple wet scrubbing and screening. So you separate the mineralization from the grains of the sands or the gravels, and you pre-concentrate the material, reducing your volume to a quarter approximately, and increasing almost 4 times your initial grade. After that, you go to a second stage, which is an alkaline leaching processing methodology, which is also very low environmental impact technology that helps in your economics. And finally, the overall recovery for uranium is about 85%, and vanadium is lower and is about 53%, which is typical in this kind of deposit. Once we got the capacity to, we proved that we may recuperate that mineralization, the uranium and vanadium, we had to prove how could we mine it. And this, because it's mineralization located in sands and gravels on surface or near surface, means that could be potentially mined with as a simple gravel quarry. So it's an open pit technology, very low cost, very low stripping ratio, 1:1. And the idea is that you may take your material, process your material, and backfill your pit, so you remediate at the same time that you are producing. So with all those parameters, we went into a preliminary economic assessment that Nico will summarize for you.
So yes, we, even at a relatively early stage here of development of the Ivana deposit, we undertook to do a preliminary economic assessment. And the reason we did that is the environment back then, in 2019 when we did this, the price of uranium was trading at around $20 a pound, a spot price. And we wanted, first of all, to understand, is this a viable and competitive deposit in this environment? Because that would obviously affect our willingness to invest additional exploration dollars to continue to develop not just this deposit, but to find additional deposits. So what we did is we really focused in on a couple of metrics here on the PEA. Number one is the pre-production capital costs here that are listed here, or the CapEx. What would it cost, basically, to put something like this into production? And what the PEA indicated to us, it would be about $100 million plus a $28 million contingency. Why is this important? Well, it's important because if we continue with our endeavor here to discover additional deposits, within a 30-kilometer radius or so, then we would feel that the capital cost would remain relatively constant, and we could continue to feed like a hub and spoke type mechanism production with a centralized, with a mobile production facility, and be able to feed it with additional uranium. So we wanted to know kind of what the fixed costs are going forward here. I have a feel for it anyways. And the second thing, of course, is, if this was in production, what would it cost to extract a single pound of uranium? And what we found is that the cash cost came in at just over $18 a pound, $16 a pound. And when one includes all the all-in sustaining costs, the value of extracting a single pound of U3O8 came just over $18 a pound. So even back in 2019, when we were trading at, the price of uranium was around $20, had this been in production, potentially it could be profitable. So this is it really did embolden us and really gave us a lot of confidence to have such a competitive deposit, even at this early stage. And just to really highlight how competitive this is, what we did is we took the numbers from the PEA and we plotted it vis-a-vis other production numbers from producing uranium mines from around the world. And the red bar on this chart indicates that if Uvanna was in production, that's where it would rank. And what we found was that had it been in production, it would rank amongst the lowest cost producers in the world, in the first quartile. And, interesting to note that all the other producing mines that flank that red line are all uranium mines situated in Kazakhstan. So this is it really highlights just how similar we have to Kazakhstan, and what a fantastic opportunity it is. So now that uranium has moved up to, north of $50, I think, this is a fantastic business opportunity. I think that we're looking to see how we can move forward as quickly as possible. So now we know that we have a potentially very low cost uranium deposit. Next stage, of course, is, can we find additional deposits? And here's a picture of Amarillo Grande property holdings, basically highlighting all the exploration targets that throughout this entire district, which is all prospective for making additional discoveries. And what we're focused on is finding your additional uranium within the vicinity of the Uvanna deposit. Like I said earlier, the idea is to have a single mine with a relatively fixed cost, and have as much uranium as possible feeding into it, because that would keep costs down, potentially profits up. So we have undertaken an exploration program, a drill program, in which we are drilling target number 1. For simplicity, we've numbered these targets, the Uvanna deposit, and targets 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we've had this exploration program ongoing now for 2-3 years, and there's been some delays, of course, with lockdowns that we've experienced in the last couple of years, but things are back underway right now. And when like Guillermo said earlier, when we're drilling on the Amarillo Grande project on the Uvanna deposit, we tested to upgrade the resource and to step out to see if there's additional potential to step out. And of course, we were successful in both endeavors. And I think now one of the considerations that we're taking is, should we update and upgrade our resource here, and perhaps even our PEA with more up-to-date numbers to show, a more better economic viability, what it would look like today. And the next thing, of course, is our ongoing drill program. Now we've continued, we've drilled on Uvanna Central and Uvanna North, and we're getting ready to commence on drilling on Uvanna East and Cateo Cuatro, both which we consider to be very prospective projects. So this, is a very exciting project, because I think with any exploration success that we have in being able to identify additional resources, I believe that the market, of course, is going to revalue our company. And this is probably the best way to add value for an exploration company, is to keep finding additional uranium resources. So in summary, we've got a very unique project, a very exceptional opportunity that's not only easy to access and great infrastructure from the province, the setting, the geologically and the characteristics, the fact that it is similar to some of the most competitive producing districts in the world, and some of the largest. Is actually underpins exactly what the potential here is. We know there's uranium there. We've already identified a fairly sizable deposit, just under 23 million pounds of uranium, 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. The PEA that we went through just now, underscores the viability and the exceptional competitive qualities of this deposit, and perhaps what this whole district holds for us. And I have to say that in Kazakhstan, they spent nearly 50 years to develop their deposits to become as large as they are now. We're just at the very beginning right now. So as we begin and we explore and we find additional deposits here, I think definitely we have got the potential to rank amongst the largest uranium districts in the world with some of the lowest operating costs. Open to expansion. We're funded. We've got just under a couple $1 million. We can complete all our exploration work. And of course, we'll need money going forward after that. But it's an exceptional investment. I think it's an exceptional exploration opportunity. And, I hope that everyone considers this as an investment. And with that, I'd like to open up. We have a little time here for some questions. Let's see. One question is how long it will take to get into production. I'll say, well, once we make a production decision here, after exploration program, I guess it would probably be anywhere between 3 to 5 years to go into production would be a timely a time frame. I think that could be reasonable. It says here, what are the factors at Ivana that contributed to being a low-cost deposit? Guillermo, you want to address that one?
Okay, the reason is that the mineralization is just on surface. It's very easy to recuperate the mineralization from the gravels and sands. And you can pre-concentrate that material at very, very low cost as screening. And after that, your production would be a typical quarry. So that helps to really have a very low operating cost.
A next financing round. I think we're about to engage in drilling our Cateo Cuatro and Ivana East. I think once we complete drilling on these targets, I'd probably think in around the second quarter of this year, we'd probably be looking at doing an additional financing. And next question here is, do we have the attention of any majors? Well, we have been attracting interest in our project here. I think at this point, we're looking to complete our exploration work before we begin any serious discussions. So with that, because I think there's more value to be had for our shareholders with the results of any positive exploration than it would be with joint venturing or selling the project at this stage. And with that, I think we've come to the end here, and we've run out of time. But I do encourage you to reach out to us and ask us questions. We're happy to answer them. And thank you very much for your attention. Like I said, I think we've got a very unique exploration opportunity in the uranium space. Thank you very much.